Hey guys, hope you all are doing great. This is Hetu and welcome back to ETL QA Labs. So today I have come up with very good or very famous interview question or very good scenario that you might expect in the interviews, right? Which is basically about the aggregator transformation. So this aggregator transformation is applied in ETL system, ETL process, and irrespective of the tool, it's basically a very famous transformation that we have to apply uh, uh, if uh, if we have some sort of summarized data derivation is applied in our process. All right. So let's try to understand a couple of things, right? So let's try to focus on the agenda basically in this video, what we want to do. And obviously, guys, this video will be little lengthy. Why? Because we want to actually understand end to end, right? So as part of agenda, we want to understand what is aggregator, right? First of all, right? And then why do we need aggregator first of all, right? Why do we need it? And then third one, we will basically kind of test aggregator function, okay? Test aggregator transformation basically, isn't it? So this transformation, given that this is already applied, right? How to test this particular aggregator function using Python script, okay? Python uh, scripting, isn't it? This is what basically we want to understand. Okay, so let's try to understand first of all what is aggregator, right? And why do we need it basically and other things, right? So if I can just give you an example, very simple example. Okay, so let's say I have employee table, for example. Okay, everyone understand it, right? So this is my employee, let's say it is my employees. Okay, so, let's say a table or CSV file, that's fine, anything is fine. Now I have couple of columns, let's say employee number, employee, uh, maybe department number, okay, employee number, department number, and maybe salary. Okay, so there are basically three columns. Let's try to understand what is aggregator and what do I mean to say here, right? So let's try to put some data here. So let me say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like this. I don't want to take such a huge this thing like table, right? Now let's say here department number 10, 10, 20, 20, 10, and again 20 maybe. Okay. Now salary is, let's say, for employee number 1, 10K, 5K, 2K, 3K, 6K, and 8K, something like this. This is the salary basically. Okay. Now what I want to do is basically I want to apply aggregator on this particular things, right? This is my source, let's say. Okay, so this is my, for example, I mean, that's why I'm trying to say this data is already available in my source system, right? Let's say employee.csv. Now as part of aggregator, what I want to do, I want to basically apply the ETL test here. Okay, I want to apply the ETL test here, and then this is my ETL basically, for example. Okay, now after transformation in my target, right? So this is my target, for example, let's say. So in this target, what I want is I want department number, okay, and then salary. I mean total salary basically, isn't it? Total. Let me write it little neatly here. So I will say total salary. Okay, these two columns only I want in my output. Okay, so this is basically my aggregator. What I'm trying to do, I am basically discounting this particular column because it is a row label information, like for each of the employee. Now what I want to do, I want to aggregate, or I want to roll up the data based on department number, which means for department number 10, I want to basically get the total salary for department number 10, which means I have to add up this, right? So for example, this, and this, we have to add up. So like 10, 15, and 6, 21K, right? This is my output for 20 department number for each of this, right? For 20, how much is this? 3, 2, 3, 5, and this is also there 8, right? So 5 and 8, 13K. Okay, this is what exactly I need in my output. Got it? So this is my aggregated data, which means what I'm doing, I'm basically performing the group by function, isn't it? In SQL, we call it a group by, isn't it? So this is the simple thing that I want to do. Now the challenge here is, why do we need it? Is basically when you want to basically get the summary level data in your output or in your target, then we need the aggregator transformation. This is the simple logic. Okay. Now what basically we need is, so you understand, right, what is and why do we need it. Now test, how to test this aggregator function basically using the automated script. One thing is like, okay, let's say you have data, let's say here in database, here also database. Probably what you can do is you can actually run the aggregator command here, right? Like you can run the group by and all that things, and you can get the data and match it, both of them. But idea is not doing it manually, right? Now in this case we will take the exactly the similar kind of example where my data is in CSV file, and then my target is in my MySQL actually database, right? Now I want to write a script which can basically compare this data with this data, and it has to tell whether aggregation is happening properly or not. The aggregated data is actually matching with my input or not, right? This is what exactly we want to do it. Okay, so hopefully this is understood, right? Now let's try to basically look at the actual data that I have, and then I will actually write the test script that you can actually look at it. Okay, now let's go basically PyCharm. Okay, so this is my data, little good amount of data basically. Now customer ID, date, product, quantity, price and quantity basically. So this is basically somewhere around 50 records I have taken basically. Now one thing that you can see is basically what I want to do is, in this case, no, we want to basically take customer ID. For each of the customer ID I want to basically get the aggregated price into quantity. First of all, what I have to do, I have to basically get the total, what do you say, I have to get the total sales, isn't it? Then for example, for customer 1, for the product smartphone, right, I have got two quantity, and for each quantity the price is 899. Then the total price will be 2 into 899, isn't it? So the total price first of all I have to get. Okay, and then after that for the same customer 1, right, here also and somewhere here also, right, what we want to do is basically we want to aggregate the data based on the customer ID. Okay, so at the end what I want is, similar way, I want customer ID and then there sum of the total, what you say, the sales basically, sum of the total sales from this particular customer I want to get it, right? So first I have to basically, to get the total quantity for each of the products, I have to just multiply this, and then I have to basically say the group by on this particular multiplied value for each of the customer, right? So at the end what I need is, I need customer ID, okay, and then total. So something like this, guys. Let me try to show you basically in my target what I want. So if you looked at that data, no, so in my target, no, in this case, in my target I want customer ID. Okay, okay, customer ID, and then I want total sales. All right, total sales per customer exactly, or I can say aggregated sales, whatever it is. Now what is happening here for each of this customer, right? Probably one, right? For customer ID 1, what I'm trying to do, this total sales. Okay, okay, let me try to do one thing, guys. Okay, let me try to do one more thing here, that will help you understand little better, right? Because what we are trying to do, two things we are trying to do, right? So first of all, let's say I have data in this manner. Okay, customer ID, then I have quantity, and then I have price. Correct, no? Got it? For customer ID 1, 1, 1. For example, let's take for one customer only, and product also is there actually. Let's say, product. Let's say this is iPhone, okay, and this is Samsung. All right, and this is Lenovo or something like this. Okay, these are the, so this customer actually bought two quantity and price is, let's say, 50 each, whatever, dollar or whatever, right? Now Samsung one quantity and Lenovo three quantity, and this is, let's say, 100, and this is 250, something like this, guys. Okay, now if you look at it, for this customer what I want to do, right, this is my raw data. Now I want to do ETL here, right? At the end what I want to get, I want to get customer ID and customer ID, and then I want to get the total sales, isn't it? In this case what I want to do, I have to basically multiply these two to get each of the, for the customer, for each of the product I will get the total amount, isn't it? Total sales, I would say, this one I want to say aggregated total sale basically. Okay, now In this case, if you look at it, for this customer, for one customer, I have to basically multiply this, multiply this, multiply this, and then this one will be added together basically. So this will come like 100, this will come like 100 again, and this is coming like 750, isn't it? So this is how much? 750, 850, 950. 950 should be the actually answer here. Got it? First we have to apply multiply these two, and then based on that actually I have to roll up the data, like I have to basically aggregate the data based on the customer ID basically. So something like this basically I need in my target. Hopefully this is making sense. Okay, so let's try to basically go to my PyCharm and look at it basically. Okay, so this is my data, raw data, right? Now what I have done is basically I have written one logic for basically one second, where exactly is this? One second guys, let me go here first of all. And then exactly, you know, let's look at it here. So after this, no, this is my CSV data basically, and I want to load into MySQL database actually. Yeah, and after loading, I have to basically verify between CSV and my SQL database. This is my test basically, right? And make sure that this is basically following all the transformation. This is matching correctly. Okay, let me go here. I have also opened up here. Let me see if I have. Exactly. I don't really need it basically. Let me try to remove it. Okay. I don't need it. Okay. What I have is I have written one script. Okay. Which is this script. Okay. Which is this script. Let me see it. Aggregated. No? This is fine. This is fine. Now, this is my aggregator logic. Okay. Let me show you. What I have done is it is very self-explanatory. Okay. Now, what I have done is I have basically taken a file and a table where I'm going to write. So actually I'm going to load into as part of my ETL. So this is my ETL part, no? This is the development part of basically. That's why I'm just trying to walk you through. And then after that, I will code it for the testing part, okay? So let's look at it. So we are actually reading the file first, okay? We are getting that sales file basically. And then after that, what we are doing is we are actually taking two columns, price and quantity from this particular thing, right? So if you look at it here, we have price and quantity. So what we are doing is basically from this data frame, we are actually multiplying these two, right? Here, that's what we are doing. We are multiplying these two, and then we are actually creating one extra column, right? Extra column in the same data frame, right? Total sales amount. This is a new column basically that we are generating, which is the derived value of multiplying price and quantity basically. Okay. Now, after this, we are actually just doing the group by on the customer ID on this particular total sales, because this is my data which I have got after multiplying these two, right? And on top of that, I am just doing the group by and kind of summing the uh, group by. I'm just getting the what do you say, the sum of the total sales amount basically, isn't it? And then after that, I'm just writing into my target, okay, which is my table basically. So this is my table name, which is my MySQL database basically. Okay, simple thing that I'm going to do now. If I can just show you, if I can run this script. Okay, so first of all, this is my database. Now if you can see it, there is nothing basically, there is no table. After running this, I'm expecting this particular table to be created basically. Okay, so let me try to run it basically. So I say Python, and I will say aggregator logic. Let's run it and see that. Okay, so what it is saying, okay, it is saying that this table is not found. Okay, it's fine. It is just giving you some warning actually. That's fine, not a problem. Let's go here and try to refresh this particular database. Okay, so do we get this particular table now or not? So let's look at it. Wow, we got this table actually now. Okay, so let's look at it, what exactly we have data inside this particular table. Okay, if I say total sales, and if I just look at it, one second guys, why it is not giving me proper result? Okay, let me just close it once. Okay, I just want to say my SQL, sometime it doesn't show you properly. Okay, so let me just relaunch it again quickly. Okay, let's go here and try to run the same query again. Okay, okay, we got the same query. Let's run it again. Now we should be able to see the data. See, we are able to see the data, and this is called total sales amount. Okay, this is my total sales amount, based on each customer. Do you see? There are multiple row for each customer before customer ID, but now we have actually, we are getting each of the customer and then aggregated value, right? So this is what I am actually getting it. Fine. Now we have to basically verify whether this value that we are getting it, is it actually the correct value or not, right? Now let's try to write our test cases or the test script. How do we write it basically, right? So hopefully you got this idea, right? What we have to do is basically we have to take the data from here. Okay, first of all we have to take the data from this particular table, connect to MySQL, get the data. This is my actual data, isn't it? Because we have actually loaded this data now after the ETL process, and then we have to ensure that I have the expected data which is there in the file, basically this particular file, right? So this is my expected data, right? So I have to match considering all the transformation and everything, right? So let's try to write a test script basically. So if I go here, I will write a new test script. I will say test aggregator, aggregator logic, test aggregator logic. That's fine, I think. Test aggregator logic, this is fine. Now I will be basically doing couple of things. I'll just copy paste from my this development script actually few things, because this is just import, right? I'm just importing this. Okay, nothing different. I'm just importing it. Look, what I'm doing is I'm actually going to use the panda. That's why I'm importing it. And then this is for connecting my SQL, right? So this is the module. And now I have put, this is my connection string to connect to my MySQL database basically. Okay. Now let's try to write the actual script that we have to basically deal with, right? So let me try to kind of, give me a second guys, 1 second. Okay, somehow I'm not able to kind of, just a second, no? Okay, let me try to go there actually. Chalo, I think it is okay now. Fine, let's try to write it. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to write a test case, right? So we are going to use here test case. So I will write a function basically, Python function, where I will say def test underscore cells, what do you say, sales data aggregator, some name, meaningful name I'll give it, right? Aggregator, aggregation logic I will say, है ना? Aggregation logic. Okay, this is what I'm going to say. This is my function. Now as I said, I have to write, I have to compare with expected and actual result, isn't it? So what is my something is erroring out. What is this actually? Okay, I think because of I'm writing it still. Let's complete this. Okay, and then we'll see it. Okay, now since we have to write something, let's say I will say df. Okay, maybe what is my source, let's write the source actually. Okay, this is my source, and I have to say pd dot read underscore csv. Okay, and then I have to say what is the file name, sales dot csv. This is my source, isn't it? And this is going to be my this source, no, I have to make it for the expected for the expected data as well, isn't it? So what I will do is I will basically, if I can just go here, not here, basically go it here, right? So what I have done, look, this is what I have done, right? Now if I can just see all the data frame, I can see, if I can, I want to access one or two column, let's say price, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first add price, right? I'm going to add price and quantity, sorry, multiply, not add. Okay, so let's try to do it basically here, and quantity guys, this is what I'm showing you. I'll show you here and then I'll copy paste it there exactly. Okay, now if you look at it, this is what, 1 second, 1 second, this is giving you some error actually, because quantity is not right. Okay, quantity, I think this should be okay now. So what we are doing is basically we are actually taking the price and quantity, multiplying it. Okay, simple, right? Now what I want to do is I want to basically store into some other data frame. I mean this data frame I want to give a different column name. I can say total sales amount. Okay, I'll say total sales amount or something like this. Okay, something just to show you. Now I got this. Now in this data frame itself, before, right, before I was not having this particular column. Now I'm going to derive this particular column based on this, and I'm going to have an extra column in this particular sales table, I mean data frame basically. So if you can see it here, I got this new extra column, which is basically nothing but multiplication of price and quantity if you look at it. So this multiplied this multiplied this multiplied this, like this. Okay, we got it. Now the next step is what? I have to basically group by based on customer ID. Like for each of the customer ID one, I just want to add up this value, right? For example, if I assume this and this, these are the three basically row for customer ID one. So based on the customer ID, I just have to, what I have to do, I have to just add this and this and this. There are some more basically, but for now I'm just saying, let's say I have three records for customer one. I'll just add up all of them, and that is what basically I'm grouping it based on the customer ID. Simple group by function basically, guys, right? So can I do one thing? Can I okay, can I say df? I think I can say something like expected df, because this is my source, no? So I'm saying expected data frame. What I'm expecting, the expected data frame is basically, I'm just going to store into this, and what I'm going to say, I'm going to take this actually. Okay, can I say here df? Okay, this is fine, I guess. Okay, I will take df itself. I'll say df dot group by. Okay, because this is the data I got it already, no? One second, guys, let me write it little down actually. So this is already there, let it be here. So if I can write it here, it will be better actually. I'll say group by. Okay, and then in group by, based on what I have to say, customer, no, customer ID actually. So this is what exactly is, I have to give the exact column name, no? I think this is the one. I just copy paste maybe for the safer side. Okay, I think this is right only. Okay, group by customer ID, and what exactly I want to group by, and what I want to perform the aggregate operation. So I want to actually add, based on the group by, I want to add total sales amount. This is my total sales amount. I want to just basically um, run the uh, add, right, sum. I'm going to sum this particular column, right? So what I have to do, I have to just say here, okay, and then I have to just run the sum function basically here. Okay, simple. This is what I have to done, and then I have to just say reset function just to convert into reset index, just to convert into a data frame basically. Okay, this is done basically. If I can just show you this one now, if you look at it, do you see that I have got customer ID, I have got sales amount and everything, exactly the same thing, right? If I can actually compare this with my here, this is my data, isn't it? This is the one. And if I compare my output, basically, where is my expected, sorry, actual output? Here in my database. So for customer ID 1, 3069.91, let's look at it, whether it is matching or not, right? 3069.91 for customer ID 2, 3059, correct? Exactly, no? It's matching basically, right? Now, this is what exactly we have to do. Now, we have the next step. Next step is what? Actually, we have to compare these two, right? So we'll be using some sort of pi test kind of check, so that it can give you fail, pass, fail, and other things basically in the test framework, right? So let's try to do one thing. Let me try to take all of this and copy and paste basically here. Okay, I'll take in this script, what I will do, I will just type it, paste it here, and then I will also take this line as well. Okay, and then we will show you, right? This is done. Now what I will do, I will also get this expected df, isn't it? Expected df, where it is, let's go here, expected df. Now what I want to do, I want to basically get the actual df also. And how to get the actual df? Actually I have to get the actual data frame from where? From the table, because that is already loaded in my database, no? So this is coming from my file, all of this, and finally I got the expected data. Now I want the actual data also, right? So I will say actual data frame. And how do I get it? I have to just I just to connect it, right? Connect to the database and get the data from there. So how do I do it? I will say pd dot read underscore SQL. Okay, where is this SQL? And then I have to put two parameter. One is basically select star from. One second, guys. Let me just show you. I will just take this actually. No, I'll just where it is. One second. Just let me pull down. Uh, I'll just copy paste it here. Basically, this is my query. Actually, I need to pass it here. One parameter is query, and second parameter I have to pass is basically the engine, right? Database engine, so that this is my connectivity. So it can connect and actually fetch the data and store into actual data frame. Got it? Now, once I get actual and expected, the things are very simple. I just have to put assertion basically. I'll say assert, right? And I'll say here actual data frame dot equals, isn't it? Because I have to compare no two data frames, and then I have to say expected here. If both are matching, then I'm good. My test case will pass. If not, right? In that case, I'm going to say ETL process is not correctly transforming aggregation. Okay, something like this. Aggregation are not doing aggregation logic, whatever. So you can just actually mention it like this if there is any test failure. Okay, finally I can just say print here, and I can say that my test, I will say this one actually. I can say this something like this. My test cells logic is passed. Okay, this is my test case, no? So I'm saying that my test case is passed actually. Okay, so this is what basically I have written. Now let's try to run and see whether it is really working or not, because this is my automated test script that I have written actually, right? Now how to test it? We have to say pytest, and then I have to just say test underscore. Let's try to run it and see what happens. Amazing, it is failing. Okay, and why it is failing is because I have no idea. Let's look at it. So it is showing you something wrong basically. Okay, it is saying expected actual. Okay, is there any process? Let's look at it. Skips, give a second. Okay, let me see it. I think, okay, let me try to put one more B and S. Okay, and let's see what happens basically. Okay, I think it is giving me something. Basically, I'm trying to print actually here. Okay, I'm just trying to print it here so that I can get actual and expected data frame, and then I can verify. Okay, so if I can get the data, actually this is my actual. Okay, here. So it is saying souls, customer total, sales amount. Okay, and let's look at down actually. Okay, guys, I think. Okay, one second. Total sales amount. This is the fine, no? This is okay. Ah, okay, this is the problem. See, here is actually total means T capital, S is capital, all of them are capital. But in my database, no, like here in my database, if you look at it, here you see in database T is capital. That's the reason I think it is giving me problem. Okay, so can I do one thing? Can I actually go here? Can I just change this capital T, because it is trying to compare the column by column, no? So two column it is finding, one is customer ID, and same thing it is trying to find it in the database also. So it is actually comparing the same name, right? That is the reason looks like problem. Let's try to run it once again. Okay, if I can just run it. If I run it, wow, it is passed. See, this is passed. My test, this is actually passed, and everything looks fine. Okay, so this is how exactly you can do. Now, if I can just show you quickly, right? I just want to fail some data. Okay, so what I can do, I can just go and change something in my source itself. Okay, so that I'm taking the source as my what do you say expected data, no? So let's try to change something in my source and then see whether it is failing. Now let's say if somehow the transformation is not correctly done, let me put 3 quantity here instead of 2, right? Now again what I will do, I will run it. In this case this should fail because now the total will be different, because in my database, no, I have already some value already. I'm not going to run my ETL, otherwise it will not fail, right? Now I'm just going to test it based on my data which is there already in my, so this data is already old data, but I just changed something in my source and now I'm comparing with source and target. Okay, let's see what happens. Ideally it should fail. Let's see what happens actually. Okay, if I go here and I run it once again, okay, let's run it. It is failing, guys, right? And if you look at some of the things like why it is failing, it will give you clearly, it is giving you clearly, no, something, basically the amount for customer one, basically, something actually you can read it later. Okay, so this is basically because this value is not matching, the total sales amount is not matching, that is the reason it is failing, right? And this is how actually you can actually automate your aggregator. If there is any aggregator in your transformation, you can actually write the test cases for the test script like this. Okay, so that's all for this video, guys. I hope that this is more insightful, and I hope that you guys will be able to use this kind of different logics in your test automation framework, basically. Okay, so that's all for this video. I'll see you soon with another video. Until then, happy learning. God bless you. Bye.